Welcome to Speed Dating the Divine, Speed Dating Self Essence. Here we go. And we'll start with Stephanie's sense of play. What's most like play that's here? And to find play, does it require certain circumstances? Or is there a sense of play, this lightness, this flow that's just here?
Well,
Okay,
Sid,
that's
you
our
always bring a sense of play.
good. So we'll start right there. See if we all can touch resonance of play, our version of play. And then we're gonna shift. And then we're here with what's here inside of us. Just to notice what's here, notice the thoughts that are here. And then can you find that between the thoughts, between the experiences, that there's a space? Like to notice the space between your thoughts. What's the nature of that space? Is there any lack in that space? Is there any lack in that space? And then, and then next, let's notice the sound. Let's notice the narrative. Let's notice your thoughts. And maybe for me, sometimes it feels like leaning in. I'm just leaning forward into the thought, into the sound. Can you hear your thoughts? Oh, this is too fast. Where are we going? What are we doing? Oh, I want something. What are the thoughts? And in that sound, can you hear silence in the sound itself? Can you find silence in the sound? And what is the sound of silence? And then in our speed dating, next we're going to go to where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where you're like, oh, I'm in Zoe's house. I'm in my living room. I'm in my bedroom. Where are you? And when you answer like that with a sense of location, what's that like? A sense of, oh, where am I? That's a silly question. I'm sitting here in my chair. Can notice a sense of, they call it being localized. I'm localized right here, localized. And then what changes when your answer is, I'm here? I'm here, but the here doesn't have a sense of location. And this might help. Let's play with this for just a moment. This might help with that shift to notice the wall. Notice the wall in your home. Notice the wall, and then notice where you're noticing it from when you notice the wall. And if you'll notice a tree outside your home, and notice there's a sense of location. There's a sense of me noticing the wall, noticing the tree, the sense of location. And then if you I can have you become aware of the space behind you. So this at least works for my system. As I become aware of the space behind me, there's a sense of losing a sense of localization. There, it shifts to a sense of here. See if you can find that from a sense of attention from being localized to a sense of here. As we're aware of the space behind us, there's a sense of here-ness. And just to push it a little bit further from here-ness, what's the distance between here and the wall? What's the distance between here and the tree? Get a sense that it's the same. Some people even describe it as no distance. See if you can find that. If you're not tasting that, again, what happens when you become aware of the space behind you? Can you find this here? All right, now let's just shake that one off a little bit. That was pretty deep. That's a pretty big. That's a pretty deep one. And then let's go to another one. Okay, that was we're playing what people say transcending space and time, and it's like what? Well, that was transcending space. That was moving beyond space, moving beyond distance. We're going to do the same thing with time right now. What? What are you talking about? What time is it? What time is it right now? And knows where does it go when it's like, oh, it's 13 minutes past the hour. When we identify time, do you notice that there's a sense of there was a before and an after? And there's almost a placing yourself in the timeline. Like, what time is it? See if you can just notice how where the mind goes and finds time. And then at any moment, there's what is it in you that has a sense of time? You wake up in the middle of the night, there's a sense of time. You're out in your day, there's a sense of time. What part or parts of you hold time, carry time for you? What parts identify in time? See if you can find those parts that we blend with and identify with. And then what happens when I ask you, what time is it? And it's now. What happens when we free ourselves from clock time? When we unblend from the parts that identify with clock time? What do we find here? Eckhart says this is the only speed dating glimpse you need. He says that if you are not experiencing, quote, joy, ease, and lightness right now, your presence is being obscured by clock time. That the only speed dating you need is to unblend from clock time. So, what's it like now? What's it like being now? What time is it now? If it doesn't identify with clock time, what's here? Okay, again, let's shake it off. That was a heavy one. That was a big one. Transcending space and time. All right, let's go a little lighter here. And so we have the thoughts that are going on right now. Like this is exhausting. How many more of these speed dating things are we going to do? It's exhausting. The thoughts are like, what's going to be next? Just notice what thoughts are here for you. And those thoughts, what if they're waves? What if those thoughts are just waves in the ocean? Thoughts are waves in the ocean. And just like waves in the ocean, what if those thoughts, those waves are made of water itself? What if those thoughts are made of beingness, are made of the water, made of this essence? What happens? What's that like? Is that nice? Do our parts get to feel the pervasive beingness, the pervasive water, the pervasive love? What's it like when we see everything is made of this? We'll just do two more. We'll just do two more. Let's find some contraction right now. There's probably contraction. Like, what's the contraction that's here? Like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do any more of this. Or what do we, whatever the contraction is, or gosh, I really want some relief today, or I want to connect, or gosh, what am I having for lunch? See if you can find the contraction. And for me, sometimes I just do like a little fist. I can feel the contraction, the sense of I want. If you find the contraction, and then we're going to do something really light. What happens when you smile? There's the contraction, then you smile. What happens? And you might be, this is silly. This is what I do when I work with athletes, tennis players. It's just like, can you smile while you're playing? And then try to get caught in your mind. Try to be contracted. What happens when we smile? Could it be that simple? Speed dating the divine. And lastly, for the whipped cream and cherry on top, the last one is it possible that not only can this all be welcomed, all these experiences, all of how life is arising in you, just notice if it's welcomed. Notice if, like Jim Carrey is the yes man, that self just welcomes everything. Beingness welcomes, it has no resistance to what is. See if you can find that where this essence, this beingness, the sky just welcomes it all, welcomes the weather. And this is our grand finale, the welcoming, and we're just going to push it a little further. Is it possible that you, you, self, beingness can enjoy it all? Like it all can be enjoyed. There's something enjoyable in how life is moving through you and all of the expressions. Just like you were with a child that's having a tantrum or is like so happy because it got a banana split. It's like the whole spectrum can be enjoyed. Can yours be enjoyed? All right. You made it. You made it through our speed dating adventure. And that was our warm up to be together to really celebrate you and see what's here. That was just our little warm up because the rest of our time is about what's it like to be you? What's it like? How does life move through you? And all of that, what's that like? And so as we come back together and we get the joy of, gosh, I'm not alone in this. I've got six people here that are celebrating me and holding the space for me. Let me just do my little housekeeping real quick when I just to notice how are you, what's here. And as you just being with your inner world, with what's here, just quickly, I'm a mediator. I'm not a psychotherapist. If everybody's good with being responsible for the journeys, if I can get a thumbs up. And as always, I've got the recording on. Only my image would ever be shared. However, if there's anything that you're not comfortable being recorded, just let me know and I make you a co-host. And then ultimately you've got control. In the end, you're like, I wish I hadn't said that. Let me know and I'll delete it. If everybody's good that this could be shared, if I could get a thumbs up from you, please. Okay. Here we are. How was that? Was that horrible, John? It was like, how are we doing? What's bubbling? Who wants to go first? Who's got something? How was that? How was that
It was
experience?
great. It
It was
was
great.
great. And I was totally in my toddler. Like I could feel that toddler body, those sturdy little legs, that chubby little belly. And I could feel that she was just totally released.
You were in the
Mm.
toddler belly. So what was that? Does that feel like an innocence and openness? What's that? What's
Yeah,
that, Elizabeth?
it was all about just being present and not really thinking, just being and just kind of exploding with joy in a very natural way.
And this joy, Elizabeth and I were speaking at the very beginning about her, the sense of the boat has become steadier. This presence, the self has become louder in her system. Is does the joy feel more like an experience, or does the joy feel more like the intrinsic being? What's the joy?
It
And
just
just
feels
yeah.
like the intrinsic being. It just feels like just meeting experience and letting it wash through me
Mm,
with, the beginner's mind.
gosh. Isn't this exciting as we hear how this opens in each of us, as we're hearing it open, how it opens, how it's opening in Elizabeth? How does that how does that translate into your system? The sense of she's where the joy feels like it's intrinsic, it's a flavor of our beingness, of our nature, of our essence. How do you taste that in your systems? What she's saying. And then Elizabeth also said, then there's beginner's mind. There's beginner's mind. What does that mean to you? Is it like a little toddler with a little belly? It's like this innocence and openness, this beginner's mind. What's beginner's mind for you? What else, Elizabeth?
It just feels like when I'm in that kind of, I can feel it on if sort of a physical level, sort of walking around and just exploring and not really, and it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't hold any meaning. It just is. And it's just inherent.
Gosh,
And the work I did on Thursday, I felt that. I really felt that. I felt that sense of just being and the warmth of that and the joy and the just seeing it all and feeling it all.
but just as we hear Elizabeth facilitate us right now with this, how does this resonate in your system when she says just being? Just being. How do we make sense of that? And then she describes there's just wandering around with this curiosity, this openness. And just to notice what parts in us obscure that, or what says no to that, or what gets uncomfortable with what Elizabeth's describing. Just an openness. And there's no it's not holding, it's not making meaning, it's just here. It's just this openness. As we hear her describe this and invite us into this, what resists in you? What says no, or where can you notice any anxiousness, any stress, any discomfort? And is that a problem? Or can that be included too, as Elizabeth's walking around and suddenly, oh, there's some anxiety, there's some stress, there's some no, I need to be doing something else that comes up. Is that a problem, or is that just part of the experience, part of what's happening? Anything else, Elizabeth?
No, I think you got it. It just, it's just that feeling of just it's all happening. And it's not good or bad, it just is.
Mhm. Just happening.
And that light that shines.
What are our minds doing with what Elizabeth's saying? Just the light that shines, it just is, not good or bad. What's our system doing with it? Notice if there's a spiritual achiever that might say, oh, there, I want more of that. I want more of what Elizabeth's got. See, so notice if there's anything that is responding that way, see if you can find it as a part. It's just a part. It's just a part. Just a part. And then there's this that's aware of it. Then there's this just is, this peace, this awareness, this joy. Woo! Okay, well, that was a really great deep dive from Elizabeth to start us off. But what's here? What's bubbling? Any responses? Anything bubbling in response to Elizabeth? What's here? Who wants to go next?
I can go. Uh, I'm swimming with you, Lizzie. Uh, um, yeah, the speed dating is I love it when you do that because it's just bringing all the senses into it together. And the piece about what happens when you go to clock time, um, because my whole life I've had like a tendency to be late. And part of it is because I can get so engrossed in things that I lose clock time. And then, people that know me will laugh at me because I'll all of a sudden go, "Oh my God, look at the time." And then I'm just like scrambling. And for the first time today, I'm seeing the beauty in that there's a flow that's happening in those moments. And at the same time, I don't think this is an accident, but a type of accident happened or was discovered right before I logged on. And that was that um, one of our dogs, did went to the bathroom, upstairs. And so I'm going to be cleaning that up after this. But it is it's all part of this, right? Whatever this is, it's part of the experience.
So how do you make sense of that, Jenny? The sense of sometimes you would lose time. You would just fall into the flow of the now. And people would tease you about it and they're like, whoa, I'm back in time. Wow, that all this time passed. And then there's also the sense of, so there's like the relative and the absolute in a way. There is clock time that we're aware of, and there's a sense of, wow, my dog pooped upstairs. And there's an awareness of, when I get off the Zoom, I'm going to go clean that up. And what's the relationship between the now and clock time in each of us? Because in sometimes we talk about like being blended or identified with parts, and it's like how tightly is clock time, almost how quickly is it defining you, or is it just a resource we're aware of? What's the relationship with it? What's that like inside of you?
There's a manager part, right? That is um, part of this experience, that is needed. We need to call on that manager sometimes. So, I mean, I probably could go live in a monastery somewhere or something like that, and even then, I think there would need to be a manager, right?
Right? What's
Um,
that? What's the relation for all of us? What's the relation with the manager that knows? Like for all of us right now, do you have a sense of what time it is? Like how many minutes past the hour do you think it is? And don't look. It's like, does something kind of have a sense of clock time? And what's your relation to that? What's your relation to that? Back to you, Jenny.
yeah, the relation is um it feels a little bit things feel a little bit contracted when I'm, more in that space.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
And then are we able to find this place of flow and freedom where your system seems to know well, and when it unblends from clock time and we're in the sense of now, are we able to be in the now? Let's just all play with this for just a moment. Are we able to be in the now but aware of clock time, almost like it's way away? There's a clock, or there's an awareness of a clock on the other side of way on the other side of the room, and there's just awareness of it. But what's much louder is the sense of this presence, this now, this flow, this being, this. What's that like in us? How does that play in you, Jenny?
Yeah, I think there is some sense that and maybe at times I'm too blended with another part that sense gets a little bit obscured because I think that there's something that can say, I want to wake up at 6 and we'll wake up at 6. And so something is happening there.
Yeah.
Um,
Isn't that
yeah, so there
awesome?
might
Like
be
it doesn't
blending.
have, yes, but in a way, it doesn't have to be a complete either or, right?
Hmm.
We're looking at the both, but we're also looking at, Eckhart made $80 million talking about this, right? And it was just what in his it's very simple, just what he said. Joy, ease, and lightness. That's what's available in the now. And he even says there can't really even be a problem in the now if we really take it fully into the now. And just for each of our systems, how's that real? What's our version of that, of what Eckhart's suggesting? Like when you lose time, when you're just here, or when we're walking with Elizabeth and just this presence and curiosity, like hmm. And if anything else, Jenny, because I didn't mean to just completely get us caught in time. I was just enjoying what you were sharing. Uh,
Mm. Uh, no, just I don't know, all of it, all of the exercise is, it's all connected. It's all the same thing and beautiful. The silence in the sound. Um, we have a beautiful day here in New York right now. So it's the birds have returned and it's, I mean, it's so, um, and then there's dog poop to clean up.
yeah. So what about that line? It's all the same. All of these speed dating glimpses are the same. How does your system make sense of that? Like, how are they the same? How is this move? How it's just the same old move that's happening. If it's finding the silence, if it's unblending from clock time, if it's seeing that the wave is made of water. How is it all the same? Anything else, Jenny?
It's just everywhere. It's the same thing flowing through everything. That's it's everywhere.
Hmm,
Yeah.
thank you. And then let's do our little shake off thing, Cause like, whoa, I mean, we started with Elizabeth and Jenny. That was a lot. And then like at the same time, it's like here we are. I mean, it's like I love like Barbara's background. It's like we're all like in the grass. We're all like walking in the grass. And is there anything that needs to change? Is there anything that needs to happen here? Or is it really just here we are? In that it's a beautiful day in New York. It's like, yes, there the birds are singing. Here we are. The radiance. I mean, look at Jenny. It's like there she is. Anything need to change there? It's like, look at this radiance, this beauty, this innocence, this openness, this perfection. Does anything need to change in any of us? Or is it possible that this is home right here, right now? And then we don't want to miss the good stuff. Like Barbara's got a lot of good, she's got the good stuff for us here. Because she's got her parts that she mentioned that are like, but I have parts that are wanting more peace, openness, relief, and that gets to be so included. Would you like to share anything about that now, Barbara? I just want to keep it rich. I don't want us all to go like, oh, we're transcending space and time. This is awesome. Yeah.
I um I had very nice journey with you as always. uh, it started with these set parts, and I was like holding the set part, and it was really nice. And this set part told to me that she wants to feel real connection with my husband, and the self told her like, I don't know how to do it. I'm curious how you will do it. I'm sure you will do it, and I want to see. And then I feel that the self energy became bigger and bigger. And when you started speaking about time, it was like, and the self was like, I really love this body. I really love all of these parts. I want to see how they are living, how they are existing. I want to see every detail of this body because it's the only time I can see the world through this body during the time of this body. And then I saw that it was like that I existed before this body, but I was like sleeping in the energy of, I don't know, my ancestors. But like then now I'm awake in this body and I have the time of this body. And everything I'm seeing through this body never dies because it will exist in me. I'm so curious about everything. And if I can see it, it will exist like forever. And then I was like, you were speaking about the tree, about the place, but I was like, no, I want to be in this body because it's sacred time. I can be here in this body and I have a lot of time to be in different places. When this body dies someday, but now I have it, so I want to look like inside it, inside every little detail of it, and it is such interesting experience to live through this body. So, and this sadness was like, okay, but you have to tell me what to do. And the self was like, I don't know. I don't know. I want to see you alive. Like, what are you doing? And I want to experience it with you. I will be there with you. When you will try to connect with your husband, I will be there, but I don't know what you have to do because I'm not the body. I'm just looking. So
I'm not the body. I'm looking. This that's aware of the body. As Barbara speaks of that, this that perhaps was even here before the birth of the body, this awareness. Barbara describes it as kind of other sense of maybe being with her ancestors, this awareness. How do we relate to that glimpse that she's pointing us to? This that's aware of the body. And then when Barbara speaks of the sadness that's there, she speaks of the sadness that's here in some of her parts. How do you feel towards her? For all of us, how do we feel towards those parts of her that are sad? This is really an important question. How do you feel towards the sadness that's there in Barbara? Do you have
Protective.
parts protective? So we might have parts that are
I can't hear
wanting.
you.
You can't hear me? How are we?
What happened to my audio?
I can hear you.
We
I
hear.
can
Oh,
hear.
okay, good. We hear you, Elizabeth. Can you hear us now, Elizabeth?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay,
I feel
good.
protective towards Barbara's sadness.
Mhm. Yeah. So how do we feel towards Barbara's sadness? And notice we might have some therapist parts. We might have some parts that are read. Notice how and we might have parts that might be even uncomfortable with it. How do we feel towards Barbara's sadness? Notice how the parts respond in you. And then how does self respond in you towards Barbara's sadness? Is there anything in Barbara that needs to change? Is, let's say, the bliss in Barbara, is the bliss in Barbara better than the sadness that's in Barbara? Is it preferred? Like, hey, maybe if we all work with Barbara, we can help her system find bliss and unity and leave the sadness. Notice that parts might want that. But then from self, can you find this that just adores, just like Elizabeth, that's protective? There's probably just an adoration, an adoring, a love of Elizabeth's sadness. See if you can find that. This that is totally okay with her sadness. Sorry, in Barbara's sadness, and in you too, Barbara, from as you speak of self. Notice the self, is it just totally okay with the sadness just as it is? Does it love the
My,
sadness?
myself is like madly in love with this sad part. Is like proof that I'm alive, that I feel, that I can see things. Myself is like so curious. He wants to see the world through these sad eyes too.
Whoa, are you crazy? What? Like there's a sense of wanting to see the world through the sad eyes? Can we, as we hear Barbara say that, can we find the aliveness in that? This yearning, this love of aliveness, this love of being in the physical that Barbara has. Like, wow, what's it like to look through these sad eyes? See if we can find this. It's almost like there's, like we can go to this place of pure awareness, even the pure now, where there's just now, there's just presence, there's nothing, there's just beingness. And then we get to go to, wow, I get to be in this body. I get to be located in this body. I get to be in the sadness. What's that like? How deeply can I enjoy that, the experience of the sadness? And and then Barbara says there's a want to connect with her husband. There's a wanting to connect with her husband. Can we feel that wanting in Barbara, wanting more connection with her husband? And as we feel that, is that a problem? Oh, it's a problem. Why aren't you having more connection with your husband? We need to fix this. We need to make this right. But can you find the life and the wanting more connection with her husband? And is it possible that that's not lack? That instead of a lack, there's a fullness in that. There's a fullness in that want, the aliveness of that want, and that want is not a problem. See if you can find that. It's almost like looking through the eyes of sadness. Oh, wow, let's look through the eyes of sadness. What's it like to be in this wanting more connection with her husband? And what's your version of this? How does this speak to you, where there's a very deep want, right? This is her primary partner. This is like perhaps it's a very deep want, wanting more connection with her husband. How do you have a sense of want like that? And is it possible to taste it not as lack, but as fullness, as a fullness of life? It's like, gosh, I want a banana split, or I want love, I want this, I want. Can there be an enjoyment of the aliveness in that, the humanness of that? How you doing, Barbara?
It's nice. I like how you are describing it.
Me too.
Yes,
You use the word.
these
Sorry.
eyes of sadness, these eyes of sadness are the eyes of many different parts of me. I feel the little kid there, the little girl, and also some adult parts which want to be seen with other from other person. The sadness of a lot of protectors I see in people, and wanting to see little gap between two protectors to can see inside the person. This is like very yes, it's nice sadness, it's smart sadness, and it is there is a lot of aliveness, a lot of hope there, and the mystery of connection between two persons, between two organisms, or between two selves of two person. But yeah,
Beautiful.
during the physical world, not
Hmm.
only not bypassing nothing of the physical.
In the physical world. Now, how do we make sense of what Barbara's sharing with us? Because this is in a way, this is a little different than what we did with the speed dating. Kind of Jenny was saying it was all the same. In the speed dating, we were going from, in a way, we were going from the foreground to the background. We were stepping back to beingness. We kept finding ways of stepping back. And how do you contrast that with what Barbara's describing, the enjoyment of the eyes of sadness, the enjoyment of the sadness? How's this different? And do you have parts in you are like, no, 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 that's not what we want. We don't want the sadness. That's why we're coming here, is doing speed dating so that we can know the causeless okayness, the peace, the bliss, the love that's always here. We don't want the sadness. And how does your system make sense of this? And for me, they're two very distinct views. There's the view of stepping back to this equanimity, to this peace, to this causeless okayness, to this bliss. And we get to know that really well. But then there's the possibility then of what Barbara's sharing, the leaning in, like how deeply can we be in our humanity? How deeply can we be in this all? How much can we enjoy the sadness? How much can we even enjoy the longing for a deeper connection with my husband? How much can that all be enjoyed as fullness, not as a problem? Anything else, Barbara? Let me check with that. Let me check with everybody. How are we doing? That piece was a lot in contrasting what Barbara was taking us with. I'd love to hear from a couple people. Just how's that making sense in you? What's that like, what Barbara just shared? And John, I'm also wanting to be aware that John usually goes, we usually have John for an hour, and I don't want to miss him entirely. Is there anything that would like to be shared from you, John? How's it going? If you're leaving us in 10 minutes, I don't want to miss you.
Um, I was trying on the like enjoying, um, but from my own experience, it's not sadness. It feels like I don't like a frustration or stuckness, and I can do that with sadness is much easier for me to enjoy than stuckness or frustration. Yeah, I end up battling it a little bit even in the trying to enjoy it.
Me too. We all can relate to this, right? The like, whoa, you want me to enjoy the stuckness and frustration? I don't know about that. Anything else, John?
part of me feels a little ashamed or something to feel stuckness. There's almost like a not wanting to reveal that's here too.
Yeah. We relate to that. It's like, well, I want what Jenny and Elizabeth were talking about. I just want to stay there. That
Mm,
there, this place of the speed dating, the connectedness, the okayness, the love, the bliss. That's the spiritual stuff. That's what we're doing here, right? It's and then I'm so grateful that Barbara was willing to take us where she took us and that John's willing to talk about the frustration and the stuckness and the sense of even an awkwardness in talking about that. Yeah, yeah, Barbara, sorry.
I just want to say thank you for this stuckness because yes, I have also parts. I know the stuckness too, and myself was like, yes, this is also interesting. Is nearly like dying. It's like you are in so much passiveness. You are like no,
mm,
don't speaking about you, speaking about myself. Okay, sorry. Just this remember me the stuckness, and it's like nothing is moving, and my
mm,
soul was like, can I be as stuck as a rock, as something really solid, which something which isn't moving, and yes, and myself started to explore this. Sometimes it is interesting not to move,
mm.
and it reminds me of dying, and we will die someday. It's good exercise to be stuck sometimes.
And hey, and if this isn't where Barbara's pointing us and where John's pointing us, if your system is like, no, I really like the speed dating, I really like the other, don't go there. There's a reason that I love the organicness of our systems. And to go into stuckness, that can cause panic for people. That can cause panic for our parts, right? It can, and there's just no need to go there. And if your system naturally goes there, it's like curiosity of what Barbara's talking about. What's it like to be in the stuckness? And what do we find in the stuckness? If we're able to really lean in and feel into the stuckness, what's really ultimately there? What's it made of? Anything else, John?
No, I really enjoyed that share from Barbara. And like,
Mm,
yeah, helped me feel into it a little bit more.
gosh, how I'm curious how we're doing. Like I haven't with just with what Barbara and John are for what we're talking about the last 5 minutes. Zoe, Stephanie, how are you doing? I just want to because we're co-creating this together. How are you guys doing?
I'm feeling tiredness, sleepy, and then I kind of start to rest in the tiredness and allow myself to go there. And then I notice something else that's like trying to pull me out of it and has this like busy doing energy. So both of those.
And we all find that tiredness and then a busy doingness. Thank you, Stephanie. Zoe, how are you doing? Then we're like then we'll kind of come to you guys and see what's how your experience is. But anything bubbling? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. Just kind of enjoying the way that those kind of two different paths were kind of really beautifully articulated by Barbara and Jenny. Um, and just, yeah, I found it moving. There was a lot of tenderness there. in the way people spoke. And yeah, there's kind of this are the different things kind of like buzzing off inside. Don't know, I have a part that um that is trying to think about what I need to say. So I'm just welcoming that little part. I guess I'm noticing that hearing the two paths articulated, that there was a moment where I kind of became aware of the really, really subtle agenda for coming to the session today lies in me, that there are parts that are looking for something. And they're looking for some kind of relief, some kind of opening, something that's kind of gonna, yeah, shift something. So it was kind of like nice to sit in that, actually. It's very subtle. And then just really noticing that moment in the speed dating where you invited us to smile, and there was just the joy of being able to hold both things. As before that, I'd become quite aware of parts inside me that had an agenda. And then, yeah, the smile, just the joy of being able to hold the both and the and. Yeah, it was like a really lovely moment for me.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
So how about the two paths? How about the part Zoe? And what about these parts of Zoe that came here wanting something today? They wanted some relief. They wanted something to shift. They wanted openness.
Mm.
Can there be a place of just like Barbara's sad part, like just a sense of so welcoming and adoring those parts that are one,
Mm.
wow, openness. Yeah, oh, they want openness. They want relief. They want something to shift. Can they be appreciated and enjoyed just as they are? And can there also be a sense of, yes, we want them to have that. Let's give them some of that. Like may they get that today, the relief that they're seeking.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's a kind of been a spiraling movement for me, the session, kind of spiraling, kind of from into kind of like being with the parts and seeing their longings and their hopes and the different things that they're carrying, and then yeah, being able to then yeah, see that they're kind of yeah, held in the bigger picture. Hmm.
And then this other path, this oh, John, give us a final word.
Um, touching, listening to Zoe.
Mm, good to be with you, John. Thank you. Mm. And so then Zoe has a sense of the bigger picture. What's your version of for all of us, what's your version of the bigger picture? They're the parts that want, and then there's a bigger picture. How big can we go with our bigger picture?
Mhm.
When we look at Zoe right now, are we able, just from the bigger picture, are we able to enjoy all of this that she's sharing? Are we able to enjoy all of these expressions? The parts that want the perfection that is here. Are we able to enjoy all of Zoe? Are we able to find even like Barbara's sense of, oh, this getting to be alive, like appreciating the aliveness of Zoe, the experience of Zoe from her little house experience. And it's like all of that. And Zoe able to just without spiritualizing it, just the enjoying Zoe's humanity, all of it.
That's a really a kind of really touching question, and I kind of looking into people's eyes and just like taking that inside to kind of enjoy all of me, enjoying all of me and seeing that in people's faces and hearing that in your words. Yeah, that's really
Mm.
precious. Yeah, just enjoying it all.
And I'm thinking it's probably easier for us to do it, Zoe, than you, like the sense of enjoying all of you, right? But it's yes, yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
oh, Barbara's got she's got an enjoyment comment for us.
Some only small thing that when you were speaking about the time, so I'm now just looking that every part needs different time to be open. There are some delicate parts which need the time to open, and I feel a lot of like tenderness to these parts which are so delicate, and they open
Mm.
slowly, so you can see all the process of the opening because it's very slow, and you can see the steps of this opening. So these are very nice parts. I could, yes.
How do we respond to that? The sense of this, we can hear the patience in Barbara's system, right? The enjoyment of parts that just it opens on its own timing. And do we have something that resists that reacts to that? Like, no, I want it now. It should have happened already. This is going too slow. Do we have parts of us that are wanting something to be different than what is? Sorry, Zoe, I just wanted to
Yes, I'm-
include her. Back to you.
Mm. Um, yes, I just have a memory that arises just because I was on holiday recently with a group of friends and I gave up my phone to have a phone-free holiday. And yeah, I was just kind of tasting that way in which each day, yeah, you're just meeting what is there. And that kind of, I mean, obviously you're in holiday mode a little bit. You're somewhere different, somewhere new, and there's such a lot to kind of like explore. But that's the kind of closest, yeah, that's the memory that surfaces when thinking about, or yeah, when hearing, the kind of the about time and how attached to, kind of clock time parts can be and how important they are. And yet at the same time, hmm, there was a real joy and ease in not having that on holiday, that freedom that gave me a glimpse.
So I'm curious for all of us as we hear Zoe describe her holiday time, not having her phone. As we hear that, do we find resistance that comes up inside of us? Just being here, just enjoying, just being slow in this patience. Do we have parts like, no, I have to get this done. This is important. I need to know what's happening. I need to know this. I need to be connected. Just to notice those parts. There's nothing wrong with them. They all get to be included. But perhaps just to notice how blended we might be or identified we are with such parts. If we could imagine ourselves on this vacation with Zoe and like, okay, we're gonna leave our phones in our rooms. We're gonna lock our phones away and we're just gonna be here. Anything else, Zoe?
No, just to say what an eye opener that was, kind of making or kind of creating the space for allowing me to see, how parts are just so attached to time and driven by time in ways that are just really, kind of almost unconscious that I hadn't seen. And how much more I was able to kind of access my body and what my body needed. And it felt like a different way of, you know, like in each moment, it was really enabling me to sense more into my own body and my own sense of, oh, what is it that I want to do next? Or what is it that I need now? Yeah, it's delicious. So,
Delicious. And what about as just as we hear all of this, and Zoe, how does this live in us as she's facilitating us? And one thing, it's become so normalized, the sense of stress and anxiety is just, oh, of course I have stress and anxiety as part of my life. But how do we create that? How do we generate stress and anxiety? What parts do that? And perhaps what's the relation of clock time? What's the relation of our phones? What's the relation as we hear Zoe speak about vacation? Okay. All right. Time to shake it off again. Here we are. We're in no place to go. Dorothy on the yellow brick road discovers that she doesn't have to walk the yellow brick road anymore. Home is here. Home is here. No place to go, nothing to do. I want to hear what about more about Barbara's experience, but before, let me just open it up for some bubbles. How are we doing with Zoe just took us in quite a little adventure. How's everybody doing? What's here? Jenny, Elizabeth, Barbara, anything bubbling?
Yeah, what keeps bubbling for me is just that um, it's really hard to know that the ocean is here if there's no waves. And we get these waves, that and there's this ocean of um, just love around it, beneath it, everywhere, all around it. But it's hard to see it if you don't have some waves. If it's just a peaceful, calm surface, it's going to be hard to see what's there.
And then what's it like when the waves are here?
It can be turbulent. It can feel really rough.
And then where do we go? Because this is like the two paths, right? In the midst of the roughness, we can return to the depths of the ocean, which I love, which maybe two-thirds of the paths focus, they take us there. Like, whoa, we can just go back to the bliss, our nature, this awareness, this place that Elizabeth took us on a walk at the very beginning. Or we can lean into the waves themselves and go for a ride in the waves, which is where Barbara took us. Anything on those two, Jenny?
Because it's all connected. You can't have the waves without the ocean. It's just a little extension of it. It's all part of it. And and just like the weather, they don't stay, they settle and then they come back
Mhm.
and they settle. It's so mysterious.
So what's our relation? What's our relation to the weather? What's our relation to the waves? What's our relation to the rough waves, to the storms, really, for in each of us? What's our relation to it? How do we feel towards the weather, the storm, the waves? And notice, and we can totally include is the resistance that's there. Oh gosh, I don't want more suffering. Don't want more difficulty, please. We just notice that, and then we also can notice this that is fully welcomes, enjoys what is, and all of it gets to be included. Anything else, Jenny?
Yeah. Resistance is definitely one of the waves in the mix. Yeah, battling them. Um, yeah, and then welcoming the resistance,
Mm.
compassion for the resistance.
I love this exploration today because it's so broad. It's including so much. Thank you, Jenny, and just bringing us back to the breadth of what we're being with. Anything, Elizabeth, Barbara, before we go to Stephanie? Anything bubbling? Good. Barbara's good. Elizabeth's good. All good. Barbara, anything before we go to Stephanie? Mm.
I see my busy parts, and how blended I am with my busy parts. And it's really like hard seeing my busy parts. And I feel like a lot of emotion flowing through me right now. And like I kind of just, yeah, I just want to be with my parts. It feels hard to also be with my parts with you guys.
So let's not leave Stephanie here by herself. We've got the five of us here with you, Stephanie, and as she speaks of her busy parts, can we be the space of just welcoming them? Can we be a space of unconditional love towards Stephanie's parts? Perhaps even finding such an kind of enjoyment Barbara was speaking about with her parts. Can we open to the innocence of Stephanie's parts? And if there's a storm, waves of parts, a cacophony, can we find just this curiosity about Stephanie's parts? What's it like to be Stephanie? What's it like to be there? What's it like to be there with the parts that are expressing, with the contraction that comes? What's it like? How you do it? And Stephanie, and you're not, even though I'm saying all this, and there's no need to say you're not on the spot at all. You can just like, okay, thank you. I can feel the love and connectedness. You don't need to, there's no need for vulnerability and sharing anything that's there. And you're welcome to. But
This
it's
space
just
feels, yeah, it feels good to keep repeating the word space, space. I want space. I need space. I like space. Thank you.
yeah, just that you don't have to do it on your own. Like none of us have to do it on our own. Stephanie
Mm.
speaks of space. It's like, well, there's this space. I mean, my gosh, you heard Elizabeth speak of the space that's there as she walks around, and that her space is including your parts, and that Barbara's adoration of her parts, including yours. And it's just we're all kind of holding this for each other. We don't have to do this on our own. Yes, Barbara.
Uh, I want to share that when Stephanie was speaking, myself was like, yes, I have this system. I have a lot of busy parts, and myself is yes, yes. I like the flow, like you are doing, making things. You are in the rhythm and you exactly know what to do, and you don't even think about it because you are doing it. And one thing, another. And yes, then sometimes you are tired, and but it is also nice this dancing when you are busy, when you can be in the flow of a lot of things, and they are coming, you are doing. Uh, it is also nice.
Yeah, it feels good to see my busy part and how blended I was, and then to, I don't know, feel some intensity and then zoom out and like see it and find more calm and peace in the space.
Jenny even speaks of the richness of that, right? It's just, well, if it was only the ocean, if it was only the depth of the ocean, we wouldn't have the contrast. Like there's a richness in the waves in what you're pointing to, Stephanie. Mm. Anything else that would like to be spoken to or for about your system, Stephanie? And there's no need. All good.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm. Gosh, we've got 10 minutes left. Is there more? What wants to be spoken? How are we?
I just find it really interesting to be able to sense an emotion and almost look at it as an observer. And I don't know if that's spiritual bypassing. I don't think it is, but it's interesting to just kind of watch my emotions move.
What's it like? What's it like watching the emotions move? What's the analogy metaphor that like for what's
It's
what
I
for
guess
your experience?
it's kind of like watching a team play a sport
Hmm.
where you see the excitement of getting a goal, you see the frustration of a penalty, but then they just keep moving through it.
Hmm. So let me ask everyone as we hear Elizabeth speak of this, like watching it, watching a sports game, watching a movie. Can we find a flavor of that? Like for me, it's leaning back. There's just like a leaning back deeper into awareness. And then there's a sense of being aware of, I'm aware of, this it's aware of. And sometimes they call it like imperturbable beingness, this causeless okayness. I'm just resting here. And then there's aware of the sensations, the feelings, the experiences, the weather, just aware of it. And then there's the other side of this that Barbara led us into. And I'm wondering, Elizabeth, in your system, what happens when you like lean into it, when you lean into the foreground, when you sink into the body, when you sink into the experience itself? Oh, I'm feeling happy. Oh, I'm feeling sad. Like, does the system, is it able to like lean forward purposefully, like even experimentally into that?
I think so. But there's definitely more and more of an observance of emotion.
Mhm. And then what about this? They sometimes they use the word simultaneous awareness, where there's this awareness of that Elizabeth's speaking of. And they'll say, like, let me ask us all, are you aware? Are you aware right now? Can we notice there's an awareness? There's hearing sound, there's feeling sensations, there's hearing your thoughts. There's awareness that's here. Are you aware? It's just like as Elizabeth's describing it. And then there's also the experience of, oh, I'm having a sensation in my belly. Oh, I'm having the thought, what am I going to eat later today? And there's this emotion that's connected with that, where there's an imminence, where we're embodied in that. Like, what's it? Is it possible to have both? Even the sense of now and clock time simultaneously. What's it like playing with all of this at the same time, the simultaneity? What, Elizabeth, anything on that?
I mean, I think that I can feel what I'm feeling and observe it at the same time in just the way that one can be kind of in the flow of the moment and also in the back of your head be aware of time, of clock time.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, you track it, but you don't let it track you in a way.
Mhm. I also want to suggest this is where I get really mad with some of these traditions and some of these people that are like, oh, this is what Zen means. You just disappear into the one. Or this is what Advaita means. You do this. Because it's like, I think I love that each of us get to find where we want to land in this, where we want to land in that relation between, let's say, clock time and the now, in with Barbara's describing the fullness of experience and the absolute peace of of self, what Jenny's describing, the waves and the ocean. Where do we want to land? Where's the optimal place for land? And for often in us, and we do this in this group, we're exploring the whole spectrum together. We're like, oh, well, let's go all the way. Let's go see how far we can go just into the now. And how far can we go with Barbara into the depth of the embodied experience and time? We play with it, then we each find, or maybe it becomes a continued play, or we find where we want to fall, where each of us want to fall. I just want to suggest just to notice that there's a spiritual achiever that says one is better, or this is where I should be, this is what spiritual means. See if we can notice that as a part, and then we come back to feeling our own system, just this beauty of how Elizabeth's guiding us as she's exploring this, as it's opening for her and her system, and just the other side where how it's happening in Barbara. Wow, we've got 5 minutes left. What we got?
We've got love, we've got light, we've got the resurrection of Christ. Whether or not you believe in him, it doesn't matter.
What's everybody doing? We've gone all over the map today, and it's important for me that there's a smooth, gentle landing for everybody as we close. It's gentle for our systems, for our parts. That we're not like, whoa, I'm still way out in the now, and like, whoa, what about the dog poop? Oh, I'm in the now. It's like just the bringing it all back together. How's everybody doing? What's here? We got a few minutes left. How's everybody doing? Zoe,
Great.
Barbara, Stephanie. I'm sorry.
That's what I was going to say. 2 words, dog poop.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody. Thank you. It's been lovely
Mhm.
to be here.
Mhm.
I agree.
I wish there was a daily practice.
It's really something, isn't it? Like having the five of us with you, with each of us, right? Just what you're pointing to, Stephanie. Same here. I mean, it's amazing getting to travel with each of you. Gosh, with where we went today and the way the space is held
Mm.
by us. Just that last thing with closing, just if maybe there can be an ownership of that from each of us as each of us as the facilitator, as the space holder, as the one that held the beingness, just like we were holding for Stephanie, as Stephanie was holding for us. It's the way we get to do that for each other, the way we don't have to do this by ourselves, not by ourselves. I just love that. And especially seeing faces that I haven't seen for a while. It becomes a special Easter treat for me. Um,
Where
uh,
are your Easter eggs?
Hmm. Thank you. Oh, look at Barbara. Thank you, each of you for your gift today, for
Thank
your
you,
gifts.
sis.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
everybody.
I hope to see you soon. Come back soon, everybody. Come back soon. It was great to be with
Bye.
you.
Absolutely.